right, let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rcha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Signs and Wonders. And, I wanted to speak a few words on the solar eclipse that's coming April 8th, because that's a major sign, and touch on that. And while I was putting it together, I've been sent videos and information on this Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore that collapsed after ship struck it, sending vehicles into water, as you see there. And I believe this was a psyop. I mean, it could have been an accident, so-called accident, but the way this thing collapsed, it was just, it was just too, and then it just happened to be caught on video. So there's just a lot of red flags. I think it was set up that way, but we'll find out. Now you see the ship here, and you see the bridge there, and then, matter of fact, let me see if I can go back a little bit. The ship hit the bridge. The ship hit the bridge, and as you see, it's starting to collapse. It hit this part right here. Now, these ships, the dudes that drive these ships, they're experts at what they do. They do this route, some of them damn near every day. So, there we go. Start to collapse. It fell apart. Now, this is going to cause some major delays, because this is in Delaware. This is like a major, I'm not sure if this is on 95 or whatever the case may be, but I know that this is it has to be a major bridge where people cross across, to get to work or whatever the case may be. So that's going to cause some serious problems. A lot of trucks are going to have to be rerouted. They're not going to be able to go there, so supplies are going to be somewhat limited in those areas. I don't know if this is a psyop for this April 8th thing that's coming. Today being March 26, 2024. Hopefully year of Jacob's trouble. This month has 31 days in it, so you're talking about, let me see, 26, 5 days, and then about 13 days before, the solar eclipse happens. So we're just waiting to see what happens. We're just waiting to see what happens. Damn it. All right, so I just wanted to say a few words on that, because these are part of the signs also. Things happening in the earth. What is that? In the earth. I'm not sure if that's how many times. Oh Lord, too many times. Let's see. Let's just go to. This is actually a part of the lesson anyway. Luke 21. I don't have this on the list. Yep, this is it. Luke 21:25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, see, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. So these are all part of these signs and wonders that are coming. Now, I just want to look at the word signs. Simeon, or Simeon, a sign, mark, token. Let's see, a sign, prodigy, portent, an example, an unusual occurrence, transcending the common course of nature, right? Because this is the Lord, showing his power and showing the transition of power from one empire to the next. And he will send forth his prophets to prophesy these things. Let's get real quick. Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. And we have been commanded to come out here. And all of these things are happening. They're multiplying in the earth. And we have been commanded to come out here and do just that. Isaiah 13:2, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. What is the banner? The Bible, this truth. What is the high mountain? America. Exalt the voice unto them and shake the hand. In other words, when you're exalting the voice and shaking the hand, you're cursing somebody out. Excuse me. That they may go into the gates of the nobles. Oh, and by the way, Nasty Harris, Camel Toe Harris, she went down to Puerto Rico, and they were singing this song. She was dancing to this song, and pretty much in the song they were cursing her out. As they say, I heard the song, but I could really barely make it out, so I couldn't tell if they were actually cursing her out or not. But she was, clapping her hands and kind of, shaking to the music, and all of a sudden she just stopped because somebody that was with her told her something, and she just stopped. So I believe they were cursing her ass out. She's a fucking joke. Then it just shows you, man, the president and vice president of Babylon, man, they through, man. This place is finished, man. Ain't nobody take this place serious. This devil Biden and then this stupid bitch. It's just like, I know the world is just like shaking their head like, what the fuck, But that just shows you that the Lord is bringing this place down, So that's all that shows you. It says that they may go into the gates of the nobles. The nobles are, the different governments, especially here. Well, we're here in America, the government here in America, and it goes even higher than that. Goes up into the international banking families, who really are the ones running this place. I have commanded my sanctified ones, which are the prophets. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, which are the angels, even them that rejoice in my highness, and that's the proof. All right, so let's get into this. I was watching this video. Things are getting real, and the average Joe can see it. That's the priest Amawang Gabar from the main camp in New York, or the camp in New York, should I say. And pretty much this individual is in the military. I'm not sure if he's in the army or if he's in the Marines. Looks like he might be some type of ranger or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And pretty much he's been activated, and he said for the next 2 or 3 months, something major is going to be happening. Whether it's for the eclipse or not, but something is brewing in the background. Something is brewing, and we're just waiting to see what happens. So what I did was I just wanted to, because I've seen it before. There was one solar eclipse back in 2017, and now 7 years later, I believe they said it was. There's another one in 2024. So I just wanted to see the path of this solar eclipse. So I typed in, what is a solar eclipse April 8th? Where is it coming from? A total eclipse comes to North America on April 8th. It will enter over Mexico's Pacific coast. So it's going to be coming from the south to the north, dashing across the U.S. from Texas to Maine, before exiting over eastern Canada into the Atlantic. Now, the interesting thing about this is it's going to cross 13 states. All right? 13 is a heavy number. Now I'm going to go to this first because this covers all 13 states. The other one only covers 12. You have Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana. What's this here? Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So these are the 13 states it's going to cover. Or the path of it. And when we go to this one, it's going to start once it crosses from Mexico. It's going to start at Eagle Pass, Texas, and they're having problems down there already. So this is kind of heavy. Then it crosses here, and it shows you all of the cities in Texas, in Oklahoma, so on and so forth, all the way up to Maine that it's going to cross. Now, one thing I was looking at, not just so much as this, because I got to find out where the other one intersected to find out exactly what state it intersected in, city it intersected in, the one from 2017. But one thing I found interesting was, where is that other right here is that when you look at this map here, right, starting in Mexico, every place, I don't know if these are cities or counties, I'm not sure what they are, it doesn't really say, but everything that is crossing from Mexico into America has something to do with either the sun, the moon, um, a crown also. I believe that's synonymous with the moon or with the sun, something like that. I would have to look more into it. But here you have Villa Corona, which is Crownville. Then you have here Crown of the Valley. Then here Ejido El Sol. This is something dealing with the sun. This is another one, Corona. Then you have Luna, which is which is Moon. Shadowland, Sun Valley. Then you have Moon, Sun Terrace, Corona, Luna, Sun Valley, Luna Pier, Moon Beach, Half Moon Pit, Eclipse Island. So it's just, I mean, I just thought that was kind of heavy how it's just crossing all these things. But then again, you have a lot of different places around that are called by Luna, either Luna or Sol, which is moon and sun. So I don't know what that means, but that's kind of heavy, Just an observation I made on this particular map. So as you can see, that's the 13 states that it's going to be crossing across. 13 is a heavy number. So let's just get into some precepts. And because we're at that time, and the Lord said that there would be signs and wonders in the heavens that would let us know that the end of the world was being ushered in. And this is why the Apostle Paul, the beloved Apostle Paul, who some hate, they don't accept his writings. This is why he said this, 1 Timothy 5:1. I'm sorry, 1 Thessalonians 5:1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night. Why? Because he instilled that in them. He broke it down to them. That that Yahushua was going to come as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, the sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right? Because their plan is to set up something known as the NWO, or the New World Order, which is their agenda. And when they get to the point where they say peace and safety, in other words, their peace and safety, that's when the Lord is going to really put the screws to them. Because it says that in the sufficiency, and their sufficiency, when they're about to eat, when they're about to fully establish, this New World Order, they're going to, the Lord said he's going to cast the fury of his wrath upon them. So basically what the Lord is going to do, he's going to unleash hell on these devils. And as you saw the video the Elder Apostle Tahara put up, you had Satan warning them guys, warning them Edomites. Oh, that shit was funny as hell, man. Warning them Edomites that they were about to go to hell, man. That was a funny video. Hey, but that Jake, he had that devil suit on. He was mad as hell. He was cursing Esau out. I hate you, white people, But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. And that's the point, that the elect are not in darkness, because their minds are opened up to what's going on, and they see all of the signs and the wonders that are happening. It says you are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness, because you have a lot of Israelites that are to this very day that are still in darkness, which is heavy. It says, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. Now this is pretty much parabolic talk for those that are in darkness, that they can't see what's happening around the world right now, to let us know that this is going to be ushered, it's going to be ushered in ushering in the end of Esau's kingdom and the beginning of Yahweh's kingdom. And these are some other cities. I forgot about this. Let's see. I'm sorry, Salaki. Let me start up here. America called, yep, you guessed it, Nineveh. I honestly didn't even know that we had any city here in the U.S. named that. See, brother, you gotta do more. No, I'm joking. I didn't know either. But here we are with this eclipse going over the cities, and there will be an eighth one that it goeth over also, that goes over, also called Nineveh in Canada. Check that out. So 8 cities altogether. Here are the cities: Nineveh, Texas; Nineveh, Missouri; Nineveh, Indiana. This will be the highest magnitude of eclipse. Mag 1023, the local time predicted. Blah, 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 blah. Nineveh, Ohio; Nineveh, Pennsylvania; Nineveh, Virginia; Nineveh, New York; Nineveh, Nova Scotia. Not in the U.S., right? That's in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. No. I would have to look at the map again. I haven't, I believe Nova Scotia is in Canada. It's up north. All right, so there you have it. So those cities, that's what's going to happen. So a lot of Jake are still in darkness, when it comes to the signs and the seasons that are happening and the wonders that are happening around the earth. Now, let's go real quick, which is heavy because that opens it up for the next precept. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, 1-3. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live and go in and possess the land which the Lord power of your fathers giveth you. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, your power which I command you. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. For all men that follow Baal Peor, the Lord thy power have destroyed them from among you. But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your power are alive, every one of you this day. I'm sorry, I had the wrong scripture. I thought it was Deuteronomy. It's actually Daniel. But that was good too. Daniel chapter 4 and 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king, unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell on the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high power hath wrought toward me. So even, Nebuchadnezzar seen the miracles and seen the signs and the wonders of the Most High. How great are his signs and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. Now let's just look at this word signs and wonders here in the Hebrew before we move on. Signs, okay. Signs, miraculous, signs, wonders. Let's see what the word for wonders is. Wonders, thamah, wonder, miracle. Okay. So let's go from there. Let's go to Isaiah 42. And then I got one more. Isaiah 42. And let me just get the right. All right. And then let me go to this one. And then we'll go back. Okay, Isaiah 42:9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So how does the Lord tell us of these signs and wonders that are coming? By the mouth of the prophets. Now, Nebuchadnezzar was wise enough to be able to see that. But Jake, the servants of the Lord, they don't see it. That's why the Lord said, who is blind but my servant? Zephaniah 3:5. The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. Yeah, because they don't see the things that are happening, therefore they won't repent from the works that they're doing. So now let's go from there to Deuteronomy chapter 29. And we're going to read a couple of verses. Start at 1. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord power commanded to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. And Moses called unto all Israel and said unto them, You have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes, in the land of Egypt, unto Pharaoh, and unto all his servants, and unto all his land. The great temptations which thine eyes have seen, the signs and those great miracles. So they witnessed these things. Just like Jake is witnessing a lot of things that are happening on the earth, but yet they can't put it together. Yet the Lord hath not given you an heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear unto this day. Back then when it was written, when this was written, and even unto this very day today. Jake ain't, seeing. Jake ain't picking up on what the Most High is putting down. All right, so let's go from there to Psalms chapter 74. Psalms chapter 74. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with this whole collapse of this bridge, and also what's going to happen, April 8th. We'll see. Psalm 74 and 9. We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there among us any that knoweth how long. But the prophets know. But most Jake out here, you have some Jake out there that actually say, there's no more prophets, that was it. The prophet, there's no more, the prophets ain't here no more. That was, thousands of years ago. There ain't no more prophets. Well, the prophets are still here, because the prophets are prophesying what they prophesied back then. Because back then, as you've heard Elder Apostle Tara say time and time again, the prophets did not understand what they wrote. They wrote things and they really didn't understand. This is why they asked questions. This is why they got sick. This is why they, asked the Lord to break things down to them, and the Lord would have to break certain things down to them. But even then, they still didn't understand. And this is why Yahweh Shai said this. Let's go to Matthew chapter 13. And we could read the whole thing, but I want to just go straight to the point, because Jake has been blinded. But it says Matthew 13:16, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Because not all Israel can see what's going on. And it's not just enough to know that you're an Israelite. That's step one. But you have to be the Israel of the Most High, which means that you have to be a part of the elect. For verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which you see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear, and have not heard them. Right. So the prophets didn't see these things. They didn't understand what these things meant, but they wrote about it. But when the disciples that Yahweh Shai chose came on the scene, the 11 really mostly, they understood what the prophets wrote about, because the prophets did not know. They didn't understand. They didn't know what time these things were going to happen, but they knew that once the Messiah came on the scene, then the kingdom would come. But they didn't understand that it would take some time from the time that the Messiah came, was crucified, until the setting up of the kingdom. And it's been 2 days in the eyes of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. To us, it's been 2,000 years. To the Lord, it's only been 2 days. All right? And that is a great mystery in itself. Now, let's go from there to St. John 15. Just hitting a few more points. St. John 15 and 18. It says, if the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. And if you are speaking against the world is not going to accept you, because the world is on a total different vibration than what the Lord is on. St. John, I'm sorry, 1 John 4 and 5, they are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them. See? It says, we are of the Most High. He that knoweth the Most High heareth us. Right. So the ones that know Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that are part of the elect, they're going to hear the message. They're going to get it. My sheep hear my voice. He that is not of the Most High heareth not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. All right, so going back, St. John 15:19, if you were of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you, because the message of the world does not resonate with the message of the truth. This is why when you speak the truth, they won't accept it because the message is distorted to them. The message it's like fingers on a chalkboard to them. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14. Now thanks be unto the Most High, which always causes us to triumph in Yahushai, and maketh manifest the savor of his knowledge by us in every place. That's the prophets. It says, for we are unto the Most High a sweet savor of Yahushai. So every time brothers go out there and do the work, guess what? We are a savor unto the Most High, a sweet savor of Yahushai. It's just like when you burn, some frankincense and myrrh, that or some oud, that beautiful fresh smell, that pleasant smell. Well, that's when we do the work. That's we're reminding the Most High of the great sacrifice that Yahushai made for us, and them that are saved and in them that perish. Because regardless of if the world don't accept this, that sacrifice, for lack of better words, that we do out there, the calves of our lips, as the scriptures say, is pleasant to the Most High. It says, to the one we are a savor of death unto death, those are the ones that are going to be destroyed, and to the other the savor of life unto life, those are the elect. And who is sufficient for these things? The one for death unto death, the ones for life unto life. For we are not as many which corrupt the word of the Most High, but as of sincerity, but as of the Most High, in the sight of the Most High, speak we in Yahushai. That's right. Okay, so let's go back to St. John 15:20 now. It says, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So if someone is not a part of the elect, they're not going to receive the message. They're not going to accept this truth. They're going to scoff against it. They're going to talk shit about it. But that's all right, because that's going to be to their detriment. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. Right. And this message, this truth, is not received by everyone. It's spoken against. St. John 14:15. If you love me, keep my commandments, and I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever, which is this book and the Spirit that comes with it, through the Holy Spirit of understanding. Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive. They can't receive it, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him. But you know him, for he dwelleth with you and shall be in you. So the elect are going to have that special ingredient to accept. And when they hear it, it's going to make sense to them. They're going to be like, yes, this is it. Finally. I finally found the place where I belong. Salaki for that. All right, now let's go from there. There was another precept that came to mind, but I can't really remember it right now. But that's okay. Let's move on. Now let's go from there to Jeremiah chapter 10. So pretty much you could say that Jake that can't get this truth, they're pretty much heathens. Jeremiah 10:1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed. And this is why Jake is also dismayed too, because they can't see the signs and the wonders that are playing out here to usher in the end of the world, because they're locked in this in this world. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 1, because that's the reason why the Lord created the sun, the moon, the stars. Outside of giving light on the earth, it was also set up for the signs, seasons, days, and years. And this is why the time, as far as our calendar is concerned, is dictated by the moon, because the moon is the very first or what dictates the Sabbaths and the days of the month, so on and so forth. Let's go to that real quick. Ecclesiasticus 43, and I'll start at 5. Great is Yahweh that made it, and at his commandment runneth hastily. That's dealing with the sun. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. See? So you have the sun, solar eclipses, you have the moon, lunar eclipses, and these are all signs that are set up to let us know that something is going down. All right? It says, For the moon is the sign of feasts, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Right? Because when the moon is full, that is the middle of the month, and that's when it's in its perfection, in the middle of the month. Then it starts to decrease, because it's going back to what? Perfection. Back to what? To being what they call a dark moon, or the new moon, which the new moon is the first day of the month. That's what begins to count for the month. All right, and this is why the Lord put it up there. And you had watchers back in the days, Issachar, the tribe of Issachar mainly, they would be the ones that would be the timekeepers. This is why you had something called the Mayan calendar. And in the year 2000, the Mayan calendar, they said that the world was going to end. No, it wasn't the world ending. It was a transition of worlds. You notice that the 90s was a totally different, vibration from the 2000s. The 2000s became more of a super technological era. All right, so we're in a new world, so to speak. All right, it says the month is called after her name, right? Because when you look at the word moon and the word month, they're both synonymous with each other. All right, now when the moon, which is the beginning of the month, that's when you have something called a new moon. New moon, you could say it's like a dark moon, even though it's not dark, it's dimly lit, because the Lord created the moon to be a light, but it goes through different phases. Just like you have a dimmer, on the wall when you have your light, you might want to have it bright, you might want to have it medium, or you might want to have it very low. When it's very low, it looks dark in the room, but there's still light, but it's just not as bright as it is if you turn it all the way up. So at the beginning of the month, the light is very dim, so it looks like a dark moon. So by the middle of the month, it's super high, super bright, and that's where you get the full moon, and that is the sign for feasts. The Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, and others, they fall in the middle of the month. All right, and when you go to Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, it speaks about the Passover being on the 14th day at evening of the month. The 14th day, when do you begin to count? Because when you check the Passover out, the Passover falls on a full moon. Passover falls on the full moon. So if the Passover falls on a full moon and the Passover is a 14th day at evening, which technically is the beginning of the 15th day, where do you start to count from? 2 weeks before that, 14 days before that. And the 14 days before that would be what? A new moon, which proves that Bishop Nathaniel and the IUIC are going totally off when they say that the full moon is the new moon. That's total asinine thinking. So the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. right? And it was set up for signs, seasons, days, and years, as we're going to read here. Genesis 1:14, and the power said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, right? That's where you have the sun during the day, the moon at night. But the sun, the earth does not get its total light from the sun and the moon. Those are just extra lights. The sun and the earth already has its own light source, because the very first thing that was created was what? What's the very first thing that was created? Inside joke. It was the light. And that was before the sun and the moon were created. You see? So it divides the day from the night. It lets you know when it's daytime, when it's nighttime. And that's why your body, I believe, I'm not sure if it's called the circadian rhythm. Not the rhythm, not the Benjaminite rhythm. The circadian rhythm, if I'm not mistaken. You know, you have, when the night comes in, the body shifts into sleep mode. You know, and at nighttime, that's when, you know, melatonin happens to secrete into the body, and then that's I believe it's a mineral or a hormone that help you sleep. All right, but now if you take vitamin D at night, that's gonna keep you up. So the worst time to take vitamin D is at night, because vitamin D cancels out melatonin. That's why you take it in the morning. That way you know you won't be as sleepy. All right, just a little tidbit. The power said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And that's what the sun and the moon were created for. Stars, you have comets. And matter of fact, on April 8th, when the solar eclipse happens, there's also going to be a comet. You know, I'm not sure the name of the comet. Right, circadian rhythm. Yep, every 24 hours. It's just a cycle, and that's why you usually sleep at night, you know, and you're awake during the day. That's why people that work at night, you know, eventually their body gets used to it, but you know it's tough. It says, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon earth, and it was so. And the powers made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, which is the sun, and the lesser light to rule the night, which is the moon. He made the stars also. And the powers set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, right? And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And the power saw that it was good, because it was according to the Most High's, you know, it was according to the Most High's plans. All right, so let's move on from there. Let's go to Exodus chapter 7. We're going to read a couple of verses. And the Lord said unto Moses, see, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. Right. So in every society, that's Exodus 7:1. In every society, you've always had the prophets. And how long have the prophets been here? When did was it 3 BC, or was it 10 BC, or 22 BC, or 170 BC? When did the prophets come on the earth? Well, let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 1, and verse 70. It says, and he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. So ever since the world began, there have been prophets. This is why, you know, this is a little meat. This is why when Adam went off, after Eve went off, he heard the voice of the Lord in the cool of the day. What was that? Those were the prophets speaking, you know, all the way back from the beginning of time. Way back in the time. All right, so back in Exodus 7, now verse 2, thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Israel out of his land. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. And that's what's happening right now. America being spiritually Egypt. You could go to Revelation 11 and 8 to prove that. And the Lord said that he would, you know, have signs and wonders also in these times. Second Ezra 15 and 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, just like he did back then. And how is this going to happen this time? The way it's going to happen this time is by way of the chariots, that what the world calls UFOs or UAPs. All right. We go to Isaiah 26. It's going to get bad out here, you know. And when the destruction comes, the best place to be safe would be up in the heavens. All right. Isaiah 26 and 20. And not just in the sky, because even the birds of the sky are going to be shaken when the earth vibrates from the rocking back and forth of the missiles when they start hitting it. Isaiah 26 and 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. What chambers is this talking about? The chariots. Because the chariots, you know, are going to be the new ark. You know, the new Noah's ark. All right. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. Indignation means righteous anger. So when the Lord brings this destruction, you know, the only way the elect can be protected is to be in these chambers, you know, up in the chariots. All right. So that's the new Noah's ark, the chariots. So going back to 2nd Ezra 15:11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, just like he did in ancient Egypt, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt was not destroyed. Egypt will not be destroyed. This Egypt is talking about America that will be destroyed. All right, this is that land. Salakia, and there's several scriptures that go into America being Egypt. All right, because ancient Egypt was not destroyed, and the modern day Egypt over there in the land of Ham, or so-called Africa, will not be destroyed. All right, it's talking about America, and all the land thereof is going to be destroyed. That's another clue. So that's it. So the Lord brought us out of Egypt, our forefathers out of Egypt, by great signs and wonders, and he's going to do the same thing in this one, but it's going to be more spectacular. There's going to be a more spectacular event that's going to take place here on the soils of America and above the clouds. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verses 30 to 36. It says, when thou art in tribulation, and all these things that come upon thee, even in the latter days, and we're now in the latter days. Let's look this up, latter days. Latter. Acharyath, which is latter. After, part, end, issue, event. Later time, prophetic for the future time. Now, as far as time is concerned, this word applies to the ending of times. But as far as places are concerned, this applies to the furthest part of the earth, which would be over here in the Americas, like it says here. Last, hindermost, posterity, because this is the ends of the earth. All right, but it's also we're also in the latter times. So when thou art in tribulation, and all these things that come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Lord thy power, and shall be obedient unto his voice, for the Lord thy power is a merciful power, he will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he sware unto them. Right, because the Lord is going to save a cluster. This is why he told the angel, you know, before you get busy, hold back the destruction until the servants of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai sealed in their foreheads. With what? With the Thawah, or the Mark of the Most High, when you go back to Ezekiel the 9th chapter. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that the Most High created man upon the earth, and ask from the one side of heaven unto the other, whether there hath been any such thing as this great thing, or hath been heard like it. Right. Because there's never been another example of the Lord delivering any other nation by these great signs and miracles and wonders that he did in the land of Egypt. those 10 different plagues and all of those. There was the parting of the Red Sea. There's nothing like that. Nothing like that ever happened in the history of the planet, except for to the nation of Israel. All right, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And I have to say that because you have imposters out there. Did ever people hear the voice of the Most High speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard and live? That goes back to when the Lord was given, when Israel wanted to speak to the Most High. Or had the Most High essayed to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation by temptations, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm, and by great errors. As you can see there, put it together. Put the T together with the errors. Errors. According to all that the Lord your power did for you in Egypt before your eyes. Unto thee it was showed that thou mayest know that the Lord, he is the power. There is none else beside him. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice. And when the Lord comes back, he's going to send Yahweh Shai back. He's going to let out a shout. And there's going to be a voice that said, it is done. Come up hither, my people. That you be not part. So all of these things, that trumpet is going to sound at the very end. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, and that he might instruct thee. And upon earth he showed thee his great fire, and thou heardest his words out of the midst of the fire. Right. And right now, when the Lord comes back, he's going to roar. Because it says he's not gonna lift up sword, but all he's gonna do is let out a blast of fire out of his mouth. See, and it's gonna destroy this place utterly. All right, now let's go from there. We're almost done. Back to the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus 36, which this is a bad chapter too. And 6. Right, it says, show new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. And that's what the Lord is doing, to magnify his name. Let's go real quick to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3 and 1. A prayer of Habakkuk the prophet upon Shigionoth. O Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. Yeah, because he actually saw the visions. He actually heard words. O Lord, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, revive thy work in the midst of the years. Right, and in the book of Psalms, it says that it's time for thee, O Lord, to work. The world is, has become so wicked that now it's time for the Lord to judge this place. Revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. Right. Make known that you are the power, Yahweh, and that your son Yahweh Shai, that's who the world, ignorantly calls Jesus. In wrath, remember mercy. And when you start bringing this wrath, remember mercy. Because remember the prophets back then, they actually saw the destruction happening, in another dimension. But now, the prophets don't see those things, but they see it through reading, through understanding that these things are coming, by actually seeing the instruments that are going to bring about the destruction of this world. All right, so going back, now let's go from there to Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 16. It says, bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples. Right, the ones that are the Lord's. Seal this word, because this word is going to be what saves our souls. Receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. And I will wait upon Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, that hideth his face from the house of Jacob. Right, because a lot of Jakes out here still don't see the Lord. And I will look for him. Behold, I, meaning Yahushai, and the children whom the Lord hath given me, are for signs and for wonders in Israel from the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth in Mount Zion. Right, and the prophets, are looked at funny. But the prophets are the Lord Yahweh's men. All right. Let's go from there to Wisdom of Solomon, 8 and 8. Better put that woman first. Inside joke. Now, it's a brother, Tazama from the Texas camp, did a lesson on Wisdom of Solomon. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but the title was funny. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, meaning wisdom, and conjectureth aright what is to come. Why? Because she is privy to it. And the ones that know and understand see what's coming. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches and can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders and the events of seasons and times. So this, we see all of these things playing out on the earth, just like Yahushua said would happen. So let's go from there to 2nd Ezra 9, and we're going to read a couple of verses there, and then may go to 2nd Ezra 5. Matter of fact, let me go to 2nd Ezra 5 first. And 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. Right, and iniquity is gonna continually increase. And then when we go to the next chapter, right, there was gonna be a time when that great deception was gonna be quenched, but not for everybody, only for the elect. 2nd Ezra 6:28. As for faith, it shall flourish; corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which has been so long without fruit shall be declared. Why? Because the Lord is going to put the Spirit in the prophets to bring out the truth and to expose the wicked, which are the Edomites, the so-called white man, and to bring forth the true understanding of the truth of the scriptures. That's why it says, thine eyes shall see thy teachers. Now let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and 1. Then answered he me, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. So how do we measure the time? By looking at the things that are happening on the earth and compare them to what's written in the scriptures to show us that the prophecies are actually being fulfilled. And everything must and will be fulfilled. It says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So we're witnessing the Lord visiting the earth. But it's going to get more and more intense the closer and closer we get to the end. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, what are these? These are signs and wonders that are going to be happening. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, in which we read, even from the beginning, because ever since the prophets were on the planet Earth, all they've been speaking about is the end of the world and the end of different empires and the destruction of the Lord upon individuals that were wicked. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works, and ending in effects and signs. And this is what we're witnessing right now, the effects and the signs that are happening. But it's going to get more intense because you ain't seen nothing yet. Baby, you ain't. Inside joke, it's a song. I don't know who sings it, but I know the song though. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby you have believed shall be preserved from the said perils. Remember, yesterday we read a scripture that the Lord was about preservation. The Lord preserved. Let me just skip that real quick. I just want to have that on deck. Preserved. I don't remember what scripture that was. Right here, this was at Jude 1 and 1. Jude, the servant of Yahushua and brother of James, to them that are sanctified by the Most High the Father and preserved in Yahushua and called. So we've been preserved in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Lord's will, we be the elect. So shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning, which are the prophets. All right, and then the rest are going to be in a pitiful case. You're going to catch it. So the signs and wonders are everywhere. This. I believe, and I'm sure other brothers will attest to that this was a setup. But we'll see. The ship coming and then hits it, and all of a sudden the things just collapse. And I'm not sure exactly what road this is on or what highway this is on, but this looks like a major, crossing for trucks and different supplies. So we'll see what's gonna happen with that. And then I put both of these in the description box. This individual here in the military, he was just activated, saying something major is happening. Whether it's for the lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, or for something else. Things are going on, and as you know, there's 13 states that the eclipse is going to pass over, beginning at Eagle Pass, Texas, right here, coming from Mexico, and a lot of these places here where it's crossing, it has something to do with either the sun or the moon or a crown. All right. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say Shalom. Or Canadian rock band, Bachman Turner Overdrive. Yep. I've heard of the band, but hey, the water, nothing yet. Baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. All right, Shalom.